I never thought I'd be doing another one of these, but I don't know. There's sometimes you feel like, ranting about something, and there's sometimes you feel like, just leaving this shit alone. And I don't know about you, but when I grew up, things were totally different. I grew up in a time where anime was called Japanimation, you know? And the reason why I'm, bringing all this stuff up is because the anime that people are watching these days. I'm not trying to like come down on any anime and stuff, but it all seems to be fan service. I mean, when I was growing up, we didn't have a such thing that was called etchy. There was no etchy or any of that shit. Years later, for the fans, for the guy fans, they create this yuri and yaoi and this etchy shit that I didn't have, any knowledge of when growing up, and I think it's kind of fucking ridiculous. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Iggy Tosin. Iggy Tosin is edgy and it has, actually the first series had a good story to it and shit, but then it just had so much unnecessary edgy in it. Like, oh, like 1 second she's fighting and 10 seconds later she gets her shirt blown off and all this stuff. It's just unnecessary. I mean, I don't watch the show, but it's just unnecessary fan service. And just the anime I grew up on, they just don't make it the way they used to. Like I grew up on shows like Outlaw Star and Gundam Wing and Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is a show that if you watched it, it would lead you to watch other anime. You know, but these days, this generation coming up, what do they have? They have what Bleach and Naruto, and they're just copies of Naruto's a copy of Dragon Ball Z. If you look at the basics, and Bleach is just another wannabe Yu Yu Hakusho. It's just a copy of spirits and all this stuff and spirit energy. It's just a copy, and they're failing horribly. I mean, if you're gonna rip something, at least make it almost as good as the original. And Bleach is failing horribly. The manga is okay, but the anime is just total shit. Naruto, if they keep drawing episodes like they did when Naruto fought Pain, I'm not gonna watch this shit anymore. Um, Let me see. It's just like everything is based off of fan service these days. What the fans want, like oh we have pairs and shit. When I was growing up, we didn't have pairs. We watched the anime and whatever happened at the end, we accepted it. We didn't bitch about it. That's the reason why they came out with Brotherhood because the fans were like, "Oh, we want to finish Fullmetal Alchemist. Stop being lazy and read the manga." The first Fullmetal Alchemist series was classic, and then they come out with this Brotherhood stuff. I like Brotherhood, but it's not as good as the original. I'm just gonna say that right now. You know, I like the fact that they brought it back and they made an ending and stuff this time. I could have just I read the manga. I didn't care if they brought it back or not. This just more clips for me to use for videos and shit. And then I got people complaining about my videos, and they can eat a dick. Um, I don't know. I was just saying how things have changed and stuff like that, and how anime is not how it used to be. I don't know. I haven't seen One Piece, but it seems like that's one of the only shows besides Brotherhood that's kind of keeping it real. I never seen One Piece, but I could just tell it has this awesome feel to it that you get from a '90s anime show. Well, back then it was called Japanime show. Like Gundam Wing. The original Gundam Wing. That was a very good show and great characters, great character development. One of my favorite shows, and you got Rurouni Kenshin, which you don't watch after episode like 64, but those 64 episodes are classic. I would go out and buy those right now. I would give that company my money. And Cowboy Bebop, there's nothing to say about that. Same with Samurai Champloo. There's just no flaws, no problems in it. Just perfect anime, perfect music, especially Samurai Champloo. Perfect music in Cowboy Bebop, and perfect stories. It just these days, what do we have? We have all this new anime being created, and there's no story. They're just random 12 episodes of just crap. You throw in some boob shots and flashes and all this gay crap and etchy everywhere. And bam, you got like people, going crazy over the show, and they don't know what real anime is. If people who watch Toonami when Toonami first aired for those first like 4 years, they know what real anime is. People who will watch WB kids and watch Card Captain Sakura and watched Monster Ranchers and Pokemon, they had a feel of what true anime was. Kids these days, they just don't know. It's not their fault. It's the industry, what they're doing. And they expect us to buy all this shit, and it's not worth it. I don't know. I just wish I can go back to the 90s one more time and live in it because they had so much awesome shows. Everything was different. It was just our fashion was bad and stuff, but hey, we knew how to live. We didn't everything wasn't based on how good you are and who's better than who. This is how things were back then. Now it's about who's the best at everything, even making AMVs, which I don't like. Come on, man. I mean, I remember back when making AMVs was fun. When I first came on this site, YouTube, it was making videos was about sharing your art, sharing what you created with someone else. You know, like this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Okay, if you have to freaking ask somebody for a song to make an AMV, then you have no right to make an AMV because people who make AMVs that would sit in a class all day or that would sit around all day and have this ideal in their head. Oh, I'm gonna use this song with this anime. People are starting to get away from that. If you don't have an idea and you don't have a song already picked out in your head how you want it to go, then you're just gonna end up making some dumb beta. And just like if you have to get your song from someone else, it's not coming from the heart. And we're losing that, people, and we need to get back to that. If you don't have an idea and you have to get a song from someone else, it's good to just sit down and think about it. Watch your show and just think of an idea. It's just like, things are just not how they used to be. It's all about who's the best now, even in anime, and they're failing horribly. And the last two good shows I've seen have been Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it's been in Inuyasha, the final chapter. Those are two pretty good series, even though the original Full Metal Alchemist was great. But and now they're coming out with a Black Lagoon season 3. I watched the first episode and it was boring as hell. Hopefully they don't disappoint me. That's another pretty good show, but I don't know. I just think hope for the anime industry and pretty much the whole world is starting to take a downfall. Like this is not what I was brought up. Things have changed so much, and that's about all I have to say. I'm tired of ranting. I just got off at 7 o'clock this morning. I'm tired as hell, so I'm probably gonna get some more sleep later, guys.